I made a kid cry today, and I'm not sorry. It was parents' career day at my son Mikey's school, and he was begging me not to come. My heart sank because I knew exactly why. This kid at school had found out I was a garbage man, and has been bullying my son Mikey ever since. Please don't come, Dad, he said again that morning. Rocky, the bully, is going to make the bullying worse. But something in me refused to let a 10-year-old bully dictate our lives. I looked Mikey in the eye and said, "We don't hide from bullies. We stand tall." The look on his face told me he didn't believe me, but he nodded anyway. A few hours passed, and it was finally time for career day. As soon as I arrived, I spotted my son's bully, Rocky. He was exactly what you'd expect. Designer clothes on a fourth grader, perfectly styled hair, and this smirk that made my skin crawl. He was already whispering to the kid next to him, pointing at me. Mikey saw it too and shrunk down in his seat like he was trying to disappear. I signed up on the presenter list and noticed I was last to present at Parents' Career Day, after a lawyer, a surgeon, and some tech executive. Every other parent wore suits that probably cost more than I make in a month. Rocky's mom was there too, dripping in jewelry, but the chair next to her where a dad should be sitting was empty, just like it always was, according to Mikey. When my turn finally came, I stood up and tried to project confidence I didn't feel. My palms were sweating. Before I could even introduce myself, Rocky stage whispered loud enough for everyone to hear, "Hey everyone, Trash Boy's Trash Dad is here." Some kids snickered, and I watched my son's face turn red. I cleared my throat and started speaking professionally. "Hi everyone, I'm Mikey's dad, and I'm a sanitation engineer for New York City." Rocky's hand shot up immediately. Without waiting to be called on, he announced, "Sanitation engineer? You mean garbage man?" The way he said it, like the words tasted bad in his mouth, made my chest tight. Then he pointed at my wrist. "Look at his fake Rolex." For the record, it wasn't even trying to be a Rolex. It was just a regular Timex my father gave me years ago. "This watch was a gift from my father," I said, trying to stay composed. Rocky shot back, "From the Walmart clearance section." The whole class was laughing now, and Mikey had slid so far down in his chair with embarrassment, I could barely see his head. I tried to push through, talking about the importance of my work, how we keep the city clean, how it's honest work that serves the community. But Rocky was on a roll now, getting bolder with each comment. "No wonder Mikey smells weird sometimes," he said, and more kids laughed. I saw Mikey's eyes getting watery, and something in my chest was starting to burn with anger. "Every job has dignity," I said, my voice getting tighter. That's when Rocky delivered what he thought was his kill shot. "Did you find Mikey in the garbage? Is that why you adopted him?" The room went silent for a second. Most of the kids didn't even know Mikey was adopted. It wasn't a secret, but it wasn't something we advertised either. Now it was out there, weaponized by this little monster. I looked at my son's complete humiliation, then at Rocky's triumphant face, then at that empty chair next to his mother. Sometimes the best way to take out trash is to remind it where it belongs. Sentence cut through the tense air in the classroom like a lightning bolt. All the snickering and whispering stopped dead. Even the noise of the city outside seemed to fade away. I looked at Rocky. The smug, triumphant look on his face froze, then started to crack, revealing confusion and uncertainty. He didn't understand the words, but he felt the shift in the room. I didn't raise my voice. Instead, it became lower, clearer, each word placed with purpose. My gaze was locked on the 10-year-old boy who used hurt to fill the empty spaces inside himself. "You mentioned that empty chair, Rocky," I said calmly, my eyes flicking to his mother's suddenly pale face as her hand instinctively covered the chair back next to her. "I see it empty every day, right? According to my son, Mikey, this isn't your business." Rocky's voice was sharp, but the confidence was gone, replaced by a panicked edge. "Maybe not," I conceded, my gaze moving from Rocky to sweep across the classroom over the faces of the kids who had been laughing but were now silent. "But your behavior is my business. You mock my job, the watch my father gave me, my son, the son I chose to love." I took a deep breath. The anger burning in my chest hadn't vanished, but it had transformed into something solid and warm, a firm resolve. "You called me a garbage man. Yes, I am. I get up at 4 a.m. every day, when this city is still asleep. My crew and I handle the rotting food from your kitchens, the thrown, away packaging, everything you discard and forget. We deal with smells and filth most people can't imagine. Not for fun, but to stop this great city from drowning in its own waste." I took a step forward, placing my hands on the teacher's desk and leaning in slightly. "Without us, the streets would be piled high with trash in days. Disease would spread. New York would grind to a halt." That lawyer. I pointed to the father in the expensive suit from earlier. "He can work in his clean office, partly because I make sure the path to it is clear. That surgeon can operate in a sterile environment, partly because I make sure the hospital's waste is taken away safely and on time. That tech exec's app might make life convenient, but without us handling the electronic waste and packaging, his success would be buried in trash." The room was utterly silent. The kids, even some of the parents, were watching me, fully engaged. "My job is not a disgrace. Disgrace is looking down on honest work. Disgrace is wearing fancy clothes while your heart is full of prejudice and cruelty." My eyes returned to Rocky, but this time there was no anger, only a kind of piercing pity. "Real trash, Rocky, isn't what we pick up off the streets. Real trash is meanness. It is bullying. It is having an empty chair in your life and choosing to take your pain out on someone else instead of choosing kindness." Rocky's face was completely drained of color. He opened his mouth, but no sound came out. His eyes darted around, blinking fast, fighting back a wave of emotion. "You asked if I found Mikey in the garbage." My voice softened. I looked at my son. Mikey wasn't slouching in his chair anymore. He was sitting up straight. His eyes were red, rimmed, but he was staring right at me, his expression no longer shame, but a mix of shock and a pride I'd never seen before. "No, son, I found him in a place full of love. When we held him for the first time, he wasn't something discarded. He was the gift we'd always dreamed of. He was our choice, the most precious part of our lives. No cruel words can ever change that." Then I delivered my final words directly to Rocky, my tone steady and definitive. "So yes, Rocky, I handle trash. I face it every day. I know it, and today, in this classroom, I saw something that needed to be taken out. It wasn't my job, my watch, or my son's origin. It was the bad attitude and meanness spreading like a virus. And with that kind of trash, the best way to deal with it is to to shine a light on it, to remind it that it doesn't belong here. It belongs in the dark, forgotten corners. That is when Rocky finally broke. A choked, guttural sob escaped his throat. Fat tears rolled down his once smirking cheeks. He shoved his chair back, scrambling to his feet, and ran out of the classroom without looking back. His mother gasped, called his name, grabbed her purse, and hurried after him, looking utterly embarrassed and ashamed. The classroom was silent for a moment, and then a single pair of hands started clapping. It was Mikey. He was standing now, tear tracks still on his face, clapping firmly and deliberately. Then another kid joined in, the one who had been sitting next to Rocky, the one he'd been whispering to. Then the lawyer, nodding thoughtfully, began to applaud. Soon, the room was filled with a genuine swelling wave of applause. After the event, as parents filed out, a few kids came up to Mikey and mumbled, "Your dad is cool." Mikey just nodded, sticking close to my side. We were walking to the parking lot when he was quiet for a long time. Then, his small hand reached out and took my large, calloused one. "Dad?" he said quietly. "Yeah, son. You made him cry." I stopped and knelt down so I could look him right in the eye. In those eyes that shared no blood with mine, I saw my whole loved self. "I know, Mikey. Are you sorry?" I looked at him, at this boy I would protect with my life, and I thought of the other boy, the one running away in tears, the one full of pain, and that empty chair. I shook my head, my voice firm but gentle. "No, son. I am not sorry. I feel bad for him, really. I do. But what made him cry wasn't my words. It was the weight of his own actions. It was him finally seeing the truth of the emptiness inside himself. We should never be sorry for telling the truth." I pulled him into a tight hug. "We never ever apologize for doing the right thing, or for standing up for the people we love. Understand?" Mikey nodded into my jacket, his voice muffled but clear. "I understand. I made a kid cry today, and I am not sorry, because sometimes taking out the trash isn't just about the streets. It is about the human heart, and as a sanitation engineer, that is a job I'll always show up for." I held my son's hand as we walked to our car, toward our home, toward a future where he wouldn't feel the need to hide anymore.
The end.